What's up guys, it's Tactic Gamer today, and today's video is going to be on some ARMA REFORGER, where we talk about some of the things I like about the game and some of the issues that I have right now with the game. So before we get into the video, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe button and notification bell when you see my live streams and videos. And no furthermore, let's get into the video. Okay guys, as you know, ARMA REFORGER has been out for quite a minute now, and I haven't made any videos on it because I wanted just to get some time on the game before I can give my thoughts and opinions on the game itself. But now, since I got enough time to assemble my thoughts and my opinions on the game, I realized there are some issues that I have with the game. Now, there are solutions to these things, but the first thing I wanted to talk about is the default weapon problem that we're having in ARMA REFORGER, where people will pick up an AK over a M16A2, which is only 3-round burst and single fire, versus the default weapon for the Russians team is a AK-47, which can full auto. Because in close range engagements, the Russians do have the advantage. And that's because they can simply either hit the mouse button or hit the trigger button and just hold down on it and spray and pray. Versus the US side, where you have to use the M16A2, which is a 3-round burst weapon, where you have to be more accurate and more smart when you shoot. Now, as you can see on screen, I am using a 2x scope and a suppressor with the M16A2. And yes, I'm getting kills, but I think this is only good for medium to long range engagements and not close range engagements. So the best way to solve this issue, I think they should switch out the M16A2 for the M16 carbine as default. Because while the carbine is a much shorter barreled gun and it has full auto, I think it's more useful in those engagements. If I had to put 10 Russians versus 10 US soldiers, the Russians will always come out on top, just a mere fact that they have AK-47s that can go full auto, unless you're really good at the game. But I do think the solution is to switch out the two weapons for each other to combat this situation for the default weapons. Because I do see a lot of people complain about the M16A2 just not being a very valuable weapon at all. There are even times where I just rather use the AI weapons over the M16 overall, or just the enemy team's weapons, because it just seems like it's so much better to use those than it is to use my own weapons on the US team. Now, my second issue with the game is similar to my first issue, where the Russian team seems to have better equipment, better vehicles, and just it is completely one-sided for the Russian team compared to the US. For instance, like vehicles, they have the BTR, they have the Russian air vehicle that houses more soldiers than our Huey does on the US side, which I find a little annoying, which I think the solution to that is to have the Chinook become in the game, maybe in a future or later update. And also the enemy team has RPGs where they can just stack up on rockets and everything. I think the solution, they need to limit how many rockets they can put in each bag. Now, I know each bag does have that, but it needs to be more limitation on it, because I've come across where I grab the enemy team's pack where they have 5, 6, almost 10 RPGs in their backpack, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And the mere fact that they do have the BTR on their side, it is very hard for the Hueys to even get around sometimes. It got to a point where if I didn't grab an enemy's RPG in his pack, I had came across 3 BTRs coming from a point. And if I hadn't killed all 3 BTRs, we would have been screwed the whole entire game. And I also think the Russian team's arsenal supplies are way too cheap for the things that they're getting. Their RPGs, their weapons, it seems more cheaper on their side than it is on the US side. But I do think they need to start looking at the Russian side, start to, like, I guess, nerf some of the things that the Russian team has. I understand they're trying to go for the really realistic Milsim type game, but I feel like the mere fact that someone can get a backpack and just lob nothing but RPGs in their backpack and just spam RPGs at us the whole time. Now, I do know that in the new update 1.3 that they are going to be changing a lot of things about the game and just how the sides work, which I hope it does remedy out some of the things that are going on with the game itself. Now, my third and last issue with the game is there was a post with Bohemia and a person on Twitter, and Bohemia had responded to that person because the person was complaining about the experimental updates only coming to PC, which I'll read right here as it says, "Hello, we understand that your frustration, but the experimental application is not the same kind of exclusive benefit for PC players. It's primarily for us to gather data and feedback, and we cannot guarantee the stability of the builds. We need to be able to release an update quickly and gather some of the feedback as much as possible, and releasing on multiple platforms significantly slows slows the process down. While we understand everyone wants to access the new features as soon as possible, the faster we can iterate on the experimental, the faster we can eventually update the main applications. Now, my issue with this whole conversation is that I respect what they said in that tweet. My problem is that I just don't think they understand that PC may have the update and they may see the issues with the game on their side of the platform versus the other side of the platform, which is the console. They can't foresee what will happen on console. And I don't know if the devs have a dev kit of the PS5 and Xbox to see, like, for instance, would this work in the game on console? Is this going to be an issue? Is it going to have crashes? I don't know if they have those things at all, which I think the best solution, and this does not have to happen in ARMA REFORGER, maybe in ARMA 4, is to have an experimental application for a console and PC so that they can get feedback on both platforms so they don't have to worry about additional issues with either two. I think this should happen probably in the future, not in ARMA REFORGER. If they can't, just do it probably with ARMA 4, at least do it that way. But that's pretty much it for me on the issues on ARMA REFORGER. I think overall the game is pretty much fun, and I think it's fucking awesome to play a Milsim game on console, especially an ARMA game. But like I said before, I know when the new update comes, it's going to solve a lot of issues with the vanilla mode, and it's going to bring mods, destruction, a lot of shit's coming from the 1.3 update, and I can't wait to play it. But yeah, guys, let me know what your opinions are in the comments below, and also remember to hit the like and subscribe button and a notification bell when you see my live streams and videos. And it's Tactic Game here, and I'm out. Peace.